Hello, it is I, IARESMART, and the Christmas season is upon us. I hope you like all my decorations I've set up. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Emperor Palpatine, alright? And also a little bit about Darth Plagueis. Now you see, I would argue that Palpatine, Sheev Palpatine, or Darth Sidious, whatever you want to call him, is the greatest villain, like, ever, right? It's a pretty bold claim, but he's just perfect, right? He's just so menacing and so evil, and he's just great. It's so amazing. And Ian McDiarmid is just amazing as Palpatine. One of the greatest gifts to us as Star Wars fans has been Ian McDiarmid. What a guy, honestly. So anyway, Palpatine is amazing and definitely one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So we still don't know that much about him though, and that's my problem because we see him in the original trilogy as the Emperor, and we see him in the prequel trilogy as Senator Palpatine, and then as he grows his power and stuff. But then he also shows up in the sequel trilogy, and I don't think a lot of you want me to talk about that, because, you're probably trying to forget that happened. Anyway, so, Palpatine, great guy, but we still don't really know much about his past. What did he do before he was a senator? How did he meet this Darth Plagueis guy? Because in Episode 3, he tells the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I could recite it for you. I could do that right now, but I think I want to save some time in this video. So anyway, he tells, if you're not familiar, Palpatine tells the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's a Sith legend, so you might not have heard of it, but basically, he goes into depth about how he killed his master. And Anakin is oblivious to the fact that Palpatine is right next to him, telling him, hey Anakin, I'm a Sith Lord, I killed my master. And Anakin's still just like, okay, but can I save my wife though? And it takes him like another hour of the movie to figure out that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. But whatever, sure, fine. Anyway, so this whole scene happens, but we don't really know about it. Like, when can we get to see Darth Plagueis in a new Star Wars project? I think that'd be cool to see Plagueis train Palpatine. I mean, this guy, right, Palpatine, is like central to the Star Wars story. He's the main villain in 3 trilogies. Like he's the main villain of all of Star Wars. But we don't really know where he comes from. So I think we need to see his backstory on screen in some capacity. I do recognize that there is a Darth Plagueis novel. It's no longer canon though, but I think it could be adapted into something else. And I also think this might tie in to the upcoming Acolyte series, which I'll be talking about later in this video. So basically, a while ago, there was a novel that came out about Darth Plagueis and Sheev Palpatine. It's no longer canon because it came out before Disney, and so they kind of just scrubbed it. But basically, in this novel, it tells us about Palpatine's early life. He comes from a very rich family on Naboo, and he also hates his family. I think he's also into swoop bike racing, so that's cool. Anyway, he meets Darth Plagueis, who's like a Sith Lord, and he's like, hey, you want to be my apprentice? And Palpatine's like, sure. So they train, and then Palpatine just goes off and kills his whole family because, sure. And then at some point he becomes a politician. And I'm sure there's a ton of other stuff. I didn't read this novel myself, because I don't feel like it. And also I don't know where I would even get it. Like, it's a pretty old book by now. So anyway, I haven't read it, but I remember, like, reading a synopsis of it. Okay, so I totally know what I'm talking about here, guys. Anyway, so, Palpatine has a pretty cool backstory. But I think we need to canonize it. And it wouldn't be unlikely for them to, take some stuff from this novel and just canonize it. It would be the first time. I know Dave Filoni is doing a lot of stuff, like Black Karsten, remember that guy from Boba Fett? That was a Legends character he brought back into canon. And there are numerous other examples. That's just the one that's on top of my head right now. Plenty of examples of him bringing stuff into canon for the new Star Wars shows. So I think with this upcoming Acolyte series, if you're not familiar, there's an upcoming series called The Acolyte. There are a few rumors about it that have been floating around, some leaks and stuff. Nothing really concrete yet, but what we do know is that the series is going to be in the High Republic era. This has been confirmed. So this is like, before the prequels, but like the Republic is doing really well for itself, but it's in the later days. So like, I think they said like about 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So it's still probably a bit older than Palpatine himself. However, there is a rumor of a character named Darth Paul. That's what the leak says. And Darth Paul does not sound like a very intimidating name, but I'm thinking that what they might be trying to do is they might be trying to trick us out. That might be like the running name, right? So if you're not familiar, in the showbiz, okay, in movies and stuff, they have like fake names to not like spoil stuff. For example, Star Wars. Fun fact for Star Wars: before the movie came out, its like working title was Blue Harvest, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know what that means, but that's what it's called. It was called Blue Harvest, and then they came up with the name Star Wars eventually. But still, they have different names for stuff that don't end up being the final names. This is something I'm thinking they might be trying to avoid spoilers. Because if they say, hey, we're having this character playing Darth Plagueis, then that'd be kind of dumb. So like, hey, we're having this actor play Darth Paul. Ah, you see? Now I think that's what they're doing here, all right? It seems that's my idea. That's my speculation. Don't really know if there's any credibility to that. It's just my speculation based off a rumor that I don't know if it's credible or not. So, again, take this with a grain of salt. This is heavy speculation on my part about this Acolyte series. Another thing we do know for certain is that this show is going to be based around Sith Lords. So that's cool. It's going to be about a Sith apprentice, I think. So my thought here, what I'm thinking, is that Palpatine's origin might be in this show, just probably not in Season 1. So my thought here, right, is that this show, The Acolyte, is going to be about a Sith apprentice, and they're going to have probably a master called Darth Paul. That's my thinking. So maybe Darth Paul is actually Darth Plagueis, okay? Bear with me. So Darth Plagueis has an apprentice. It's the main character of this show. This main character is probably going to die. I just kind of assume that, because, I mean, if Darth Plagueis has an apprentice that isn't Palpatine, well, then the apprentice has to go. So the apprentice dies, right? And at the end of the show, it's like, well, crap, my apprentice is dead. Guess I need a new one. And then they're going to tease Palpatine's going to show up in Season 2 of the show. So, hopefully the show does well enough to get a Season 2. But this is my thing. This is my speculation. This is my idea of how this is going to go down, all right? Plagueis is going to be in Season 1, right? And then Season 2, Palpatine's going to show up. And we're going to get Palpatine's origin story on screen. It's going to be amazing. And it would be so good, okay? Now, who would we get to play Palpatine? Well, me, obviously, all right? Now you might be saying, IARESMART, do you even look like Ian McDiarmid? Kind of. I mean, I have red hair. I have red hair, and young Palpatine has red hair based off this picture I saw. So I already got that going for me. How many other actors do you know that have red hair? Now, am I actually an actor? I don't think so. I could be, though. So, maybe I could. Also, like, I don't look that much like Ian McDiarmid. I think I do. I'm not going to show you my face. I'm not going to compare it, so sorry about that. But I think I do. I think I kind of do. Like enough. And I could play Palpatine, okay? I could do it. Alright? They got like Alden Ehrenreich to play Han Solo. He looks nothing like Harrison Ford, okay? He looks vaguely similar, but like, alright, they could totally cast me, okay? And you don't believe me? Alright, check out my young Palpatine voice, okay?
I love democracy. I love the Republic. And you, Anakin, we will watch your career with great interest. I must be frank, Your Majesty.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
It's treason, then.
So yeah, I think that's pretty good, okay? I mean, it's not the best, but I think it's pretty decent, alright? Give me some more time to work on it, and I think I could definitely play Palpatine. Or somebody else. Like, more than likely it's going to be somebody else who plays young Palpatine. And also, to be fair, I think Ian McDiarmid himself did say he wants to play Palpatine as long as he can. But, I mean, still, we need someone to play young Palpatine, and I think I could do that. So, hopefully Ian McDiarmid doesn't pass away anytime soon, because I will be very, very sad on that day, because this guy is iconic. I love Ian McDiarmid. He does such a good job as Palpatine. But I don't think he really could play a young Palpatine anymore. He's getting pretty old. So, I mean, it's kind of, if we do eventually get young Palpatine on screen, it's going to have to be somebody else. Probably not me, but I think that'd be cool. So, like, come on, Disney, hit me up, all right? Call me. Anyway, so yeah, I think this could happen. This definitely could happen, and it definitely should happen. We need to have Palpatine as, like, an origin story for Palpatine. He's the main villain of all of Star Wars. I don't think we really need to, like, sympathize with him. Because, again, he's the villain. He's just an evil person, right? I literally told you about how he killed his whole family, right? He's not a very good character. I don't think we really need to humanize him at all. But we do need to see more of him. Like, what drives him and all that stuff. What makes him a villain, you know? All that. We need more of Palpatine, basically, is what I'm saying. And also to see how he, like, manipulated the Republic. We got to see more of that. Because we kind of, like, get hints of that in the prequels. Like, oh, Palpatine kind of did this. And, you know, like, he initiated the clone army and stuff. I feel like we could see that in the Season 2 of the series. Maybe he, like, has to fight Sifo Dyas or something. And, you know, that whole thing. Because Sifo Dyas is kind of like, oh, yeah, there's this Jedi. He, like, commissioned the clone army. We don't really know what happened to him. I think he showed up in the Clone Wars. So, I don't know. Maybe he could, like, fight Palpatine or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. and that could be like the first Jedi, you know, that has to go up against Palpatine. That'd be cool. So again, yeah, this is all just speculation, but overall, I think this would be good. I think this would be a cool series. So let me know what you think, and do you think Palpatine will show up in the Acolyte? Because I think he will, in some capacity, and I definitely think Darth Plagueis will show up. It might not happen, but I think it definitely could. It definitely could, and it would be cool. Or we could just get a whole new, like, separate thing to put Palpatine's origin story in. That would also be good. Maybe just like a movie. I think you could probably fit it in a movie. You know, Palpatine, a Star Wars story, something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's all my thoughts on Palpatine, because he's so cool. I love this guy. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. So, bye, and hope you enjoy Christmas. That made sense. Okay, bye.
Nothing will stop the return of the Sith!